Hello everyone, back with a haul video of a few things I've bought since the last ones. I think I uploaded or at least recorded the last one on last Friday. I think I did say on there was a few releases coming out I was waiting to get, and then sort of looked in, I think there's like 4 or 5 CEXs around me. So on that day when I'd done the haul, I think I'd gone to the one in Bristol, and then the other day I'd gone into, I think it was the one in Bedminster. One I don't go to too often, so not only they had stuff I hadn't sort of seen around at all really, out of print. I'll talk about them when I get to them. One was quite expensive, but yeah, stuff like I guess they priced the same in all the shops, but it seemed cheaper. Some of these ones, yeah, one of the indicators I've got, they had it priced at 5. I think they had it like 8 or so in when I've seen it in other CEXs. Whether the prices changed, they brought it down or what, I don't know. But yeah, I think a few of the titles, even the ones when they scanned them, still worked out a bit cheaper than it said on the price, and the price was quite cheap. Right, I've got a package. Let me see if I can show that first. I kind of cut it open. I won't go into, but this is from my friend Al, and he did say that he's really secured it, really wrapped it up, so I didn't want to sort of be messing around too much on the video trying to get it out. Yeah, he's really wrapped it up like he said. So touch wood, there shouldn't be any damage to it. Obviously I did say the other day, can't really link Al down below because he don't have a YouTube channel, but he always comments on my stuff, and yeah, we sent quite a few packages back and forth now, so he'll send photos of stuff he's moving on, you know, that he's upgraded or watched and doesn't want to keep in the collection, and I'll sort of say if I want it, and then once he's got a big enough pile he sends it across. And the same with me, you know. Yeah, I think we've exchanged like say 3 parcels back and forth or so. I can't remember what's in here, so I guess it'll be a bit of a surprise to me as I show you. But the day after tomorrow, Roland Emmerich film. Yeah, I think I've only seen this once or twice. I remember watching it years ago. Yeah, probably not long after it first came out. What year did it come out? 2001. Yeah, I do remember enjoying it. Can't remember too much about it other than it's like an adverse weather disaster, and I guess due to global warming, basically loads of snow falls and the Earth's trapped in a winter. Main bit I remember is there's like a sort of cruise ship, like abandoned, and they have to go on it maybe to call for help or get food, and there's wolves or something on it. Yeah, I remember it being quite good. As far as these modern, I say modern, it's what? Oh no, 2004. Sorry, I thought I was reading it's 2001. Yeah, I mean 21 years old. Is that really? I guess to me anything after the year 2000 is modern. Yeah, this one in 2012. I think that's a Michael Bay film. 2 of the only sort of more recent ones I've seen and I enjoyed. Yeah, obviously they're not up there with like the Irwin Allen kind of production ones of like Tower and Inferno, Poseidon Adventure, Earthquake. I don't think they make them classic as they used to, but yeah, I'll have to give this another watch. Like I said, I haven't seen it in years, but I do remember enjoying it. Yeah, it's not the deepest, you know, most thinking kind of film from what I remember. It's a bit more of like a, I wouldn't quite say switch your brain off, but yeah, it's like a popcorn kind of film. Who's in it? Dennis Quaid and Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah, I remember Jake Gyllenhaal. I think this is one of Jake Gyllenhaal's earlier films, maybe not long after Donnie Darko. Yeah, I forgot it's by Roland Emmerich. I thought it was going to be Michael Bay or some, you know, big sort of swanky director like that. This one I do own, but I've only got it on DVD, so nice to now upgrade it to Blu-ray. So it gives me more space in my DVD cabinet once I get that one out. Steven Spielberg Presents. Kind of, yeah, well, producer Spielberg, but yeah, I think some people did think this was a Spielberg film. It's a J.J. Abrams film. I think this was J.J. Abrams' first film he did. I think then he went on to do some of the Star Trek films. But yeah, I remember getting this pretty much when it first came out on DVD, really enjoying it. Really good kind of sort of sci-fi, without spoiling it, alien, something say it's on a train kind of is misleading. It sounds like it's set on a train, but a train rolls along and there's something on it, is all I'm going to say. It does feel like a Spielberg film. Yeah, I think this is one of the best. I mean, it's a 12. It's a family. You know, it's not up there with Alien and things being like scary or gory or, you know, suspenseful. It's, yeah, really a family. But yeah, it does feel a throwback to like classic Spielberg. I guess this probably took some inspiration from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. But yeah, I've only watched this once, but was really impressed with it. Haven't gone back to review it yet. Yeah, kind of been waiting for an upgrade really. So, yep, Super 8. So now I've got it on Blu-ray. So yep, thank you for those, Al. This one, it's been on my radar for a long time. Heard of it. Remember at secondary school, people talking about it, but I never knew it was a Ridley Scott film. Then once I watched Roy from Blue Roy Barrett, I'll link him down below. Excellent channel. Great guy. Loads of film knowledge. Once he did his ranking, well, Ollie started it. So yeah, Ollie loves film. Did a ranking squaring up Ridley Scott against Tony Scott, R.I.P. And then Roy did his take on it. And yeah, Roy spoke about Black Hawk Down. Kind of put it back on my radar. So yeah, I always thought it looked an interesting film. Kind of got this one mixed up with like Broken Arrow, and I think there was a few. I always thought this was like flying an aeroplane kind of film for some reason. I guess because it's called Black Hawk Down. I thought it was like, you know, American Air Force and dogfights in the sky, a bit like Top Gun, but maybe not as cheesy. Yeah, maybe like Broken Arrow, if that's in the sky, I can't remember. But yeah, obviously once I realised it was a Ridley Scott film, one I wanted to want to get all his films. But yeah, again, Al sent me. So yeah, these are all ones basically Al sent to me for free. I didn't sort of talk to him. Usually it's ones that aren't worth too much in CEX. You know, I say to him, if you've got something that's worth like £18 trade in, then I'd rather you trade it in and get yourself something than send it on to me. So yeah, they're probably ones that don't trade in for too much, but I still appreciate them. And, you know, I have to pay a couple of pounds for them each. I still save like £12. If it's not just ones I, you know, just thought, oh, I'll have them to make up the numbers. It's films I actually is interested in. I sent photos of like hundreds. And for me, these were the cream of the crop. Another upgrade, Inception. I do have this on DVD. Sounds crazy, but I've never actually seen it. Maybe I'll watch it. Yeah, it kind of feels like a daytime. I'm guessing it's long, 148 minutes. Christopher Nolan. Yeah, I guess a lot of people are probably going to say it's crazy. I haven't seen this, but a lot of the people I speak to that have seen it, they like it, but they always just say they don't understand it. They didn't get it. They found it too long, too conceptually rich. Is that the word? Yeah, obviously a stat cast: Ken Watanabe, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Marion Cotillard, Ellen Page, Tom Hardy, Cillian Murphy, Killian, Tom Berenger, and Michael Caine. Yeah, crazy. I've just never actually got round to watching this. Christopher Nolan don't do good films. Even though I don't like the story, it's always going to be shot and look amazing with amazing special effects and huge budget. But yeah, everyone I've spoke to has enjoyed it, but yeah, quite a few of them were just like, went over my head, mate. I didn't have a clue what was going on. So I'll see if I understand it or not. But yeah, that's another one upgraded. So I'll be moving the DVD on. So thank you, Al. This one, when Al showed the picture, I was kind of dubious. I'm not going to lie, I was getting this mixed up with the Emoji Movie, I think it's called, which I've heard is one of the worst films ever. They've literally got like, you know, emojis or smiley faces popping out. But when I said to Al, is this really that bad? He said no, he quite likes it. He's a fan of Adam Sandler. And it's like a funny, if you're like a gamer, kind of some retro game throwback. So yeah, I wasn't too sure, and I said, oh, sorry, Al, I think I was mixing up the Emoji Movie with this one. But yeah, it's called Pixels. So yeah, for some reason, yeah, I always thought this was, maybe it is really bad. I mean, Al said it was kind of family fun, and yeah, I'm not a massive fan of Adam Sandler and everything, but I like some of his older films like Happy Gilmore, Waterboy, Longest Yard. They're silly, but you know, if you're in the mood for some kind of silly comedy, then I usually go for him or Ben Stiller or what's his name from Ace Ventura. I'm in a mental block. Surely I've got one of his films here, The Mask. Jim Carrey. Yeah, Adam Sandler. Yeah, some of his stuff really isn't for me, but yeah, someone else I was speaking to actually said this is a fun film. I mean, it's directed by Chris Columbus. Does good stuff. I think he did some of the Harry Potter films. What's the one back? Chris Columbus. Did he do one of the Indiana Jones? I'm not sure. Put in the comments if you know what Chris Columbus was in. But yeah, Adam Sandler, Kevin James, Michelle Monaghan, Peter Dinklage, and Josh Gad. So yeah, quite a good cast, all kind of comedian sort of cast. I guess this was probably not long after Game of Thrones when Peter Dinklage was really popular. But yeah, don't know if I like this. I thought if I was giving it away for free, I'll give it a try. And yeah, kind of got that mixed up with the Emoji Movie. So if anyone's seen the Emoji Movie, is it really that bad? People are saying it's like 0.5 out of 10. And then this one, again, one Roy spoke about, maybe Stuart George from Stuart George's Home Movies, and Ollie from Ollie Loves Film. Probably one Sammy G from Sammy G's World of Cinema as watch. Not usually my thing, looks a bit of like a slow period drama, but yeah, heard it's really entertaining, interesting film. And again, with some of these, maybe I wouldn't have picked them up. This and Pixels. Have I seen Black Hawk Down? Day After Tomorrow, one you don't really see around. Super 8 at good price in CEX. I would have bought them off of my own back, but yeah, this is probably one I wouldn't pick up if I've seen it on the shelf. But you know, if I was offering it for free, then it's a good one to check out. And yeah, I only really heard good things about it. I mean, I might find it a bit slow on that. I guess the proof is in the pudding. Colin Firth, Nicole Kidman, Jeremy Irvine, and Stellan Skarsgård, directed by Jonathan Tepitsky. I think this is maybe a remake to an old film called The Railway Man. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure somebody will. I'm sure Roy and Stuart and Ollie know if they're watching. Yeah, so that's the ones from Al, so thank you, Al. So 6 films. Got a big job on there, finding all this, not even stuff I bought recently, but in the last few weeks. I've just not had time and that to sort of, you know, put it onto the shelf, move everything around to make space, alphabetize it, put it into DVDs, Blu-rays, into genres of like horror and things, or foreign cinema. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that. So quite a big job, but kind of in a job I enjoy. Right, so now on to the pickups. Pickups, this one was dropped at my door. I went in HMV to get a few things. I'll show you the rest in a minute. There's like 4 other titles, but when I spoke to Matt there, I shouted out Matt lots of times, really sound guy. Good film knowledge, yeah, sort of best like guy worker, whatever you want to call it, I've met in HMV. Was asking if they released this one, Trouble Every Day, French sort of extreme film. But when I said it's on Eureka, he said HMV doesn't stock Eureka. I think he said they made like an agreement with Amazon or something. I think he did say they didn't used to stock Indicator a while ago either. Obviously they do now, but yeah, this wasn't available in HMV. Don't know if any, I mean, there's no other stores around me that sell physical media other than CEX, which is obviously only second-hand stuff. So yeah, I had to order it off of Amazon. I think it was $16.99. Obviously, I always tell people the price. There was no price on the ones from Al. Think it... Yeah, it's number 322 of the Eureka, the Masters of Cinema series. It's 18, strong bloody violence, strong sex. I think it did come out on like a big sort of blue chunky version, a bit like some of these, like, say, Demolition Man kind of size Arrow ones I've got in the background. I think it was like £37. Might have been, don't even know if it was a 4K, but yeah, big box of all the like special things. I think it might have been limited to like only 1,000 copies, that version, but yeah, for a film I haven't seen, and at the moment I'm trying not to spend too much. You know, some of them is a favourite film, I will get them on the sort of big special edition, whereas yeah, this was, I think, $16.99, so over half less, 60% less than getting the big special edition. Yeah, if it's a film I've seen I really like, I might have done it, but yeah, this is a notorious film. One's been on my radar for a long time, never really been able to get a copy. A while ago in CEX, I seen the DVD version on, I think it was Tartan Video, and they wanted about £18 for it, and it wasn't great condition. It might have even been a dreaded cover reprint. But yeah, when I've been looking on lists of, you know, most extreme, disturbing, gory, whatever kind of film, especially the French films, obviously Martyrs is up there. But yeah, this is one that's always been on the list for a lot of like twisted sexual things as much as gore. I'll quickly read you the synopsis because I'm not sure if everybody's heard of this one. Not going to be for everyone. I mean, I haven't seen it myself, so I can't say, but from what I've heard, yeah, it's very controversial, disturbing, offensive, up there with films like Salo, I never know how you pronounce it, The 120 Days of Sodom, Serbian film, if people heard of that, In the Realm of the Senses, which was like one of the first Japanese films to include like sort of deviant sexual things. First excursion into genre cinema by the celebrated French auteur Claire Denis, who made her name with previous features Chocolat and Beau Travail. Trouble Every Day is an erotically charged exploration of our darkest human desires and a key film in the development of what later came to be known as the New French Extremity movement. Dr. Shane Brown, played by Vincent Gallo from Buffalo 66, kept getting him muddled up with Vincent Cassel in my brain, and his new wife June, Tricia Vesey from On the Edge, are honeymooning in Paris, though Shane has other plans for their trip. He's hoping to track down his former medical colleague, Liao Semero, played by Alex Descas from Bastards, and discuss a past study into the human libido, but Liao doesn't want to be found. He is living in obscurity with his own wife, Corre, I guess it's pronounced, Beatrice Darley from Inside, really good in Inside, brilliant villain. It's like a home invasion film. I won't spoil it by saying any more than that, but she is one of the most riveting, tense, well-played villains in recent, since the 2000s horror, but just in general, just a normal woman. Well, normal, it's not very, it's misleading, but she doesn't have a Freddy Krueger hat on, she doesn't have a Jason mask, she doesn't need Michael Myers' knife, she just turns up at the door and just genuinely a truly terrifying villain. She's also in Climax. No, not Climax. What's it called? Lux Aeterna, I think you pronounce it. It's another film by Gaspar Noé. He always does messed up films. Who has developed an insatiable cannibalistic lust as a result of Lau's outstanding experiment. A lust that Shane is beginning to feel too. A dark and lyrical rumination on the pleasures of the flesh. Trouble Every Day is a remarkable world of extreme cinema that challenged critics and audiences upon its release before it came to be lauded as a modern classic. The Masters of Cinema series is honoured to present the film on Blu-ray from a brand new restoration. So yeah, usually with these films, there's been so many, I can't sort of think of more off the top of my head. Not all sort of extreme films, but a lot of films in general that just never had a release in Britain. Some like this. Other ones that have come out recently, like Pinocchio 964, a lot of the Her Vengeance, a lot of the Category 3 films, even like Gummo that came out on Criterion. Yeah, it's basically been a lot of notorious, not always banned, but controversial films that you could only really get them on Region 1 import. They never had a proper release in the UK, and if they did, it was probably just a cheap, crappy sort of DVD. So yeah, not only been waiting for this one to get an upgrade, but yeah, I guess it's a sign of the times, isn't it, when so many films, going back as far as the Video Nasties, that just never really got released and always got sort of persecuted and things. Now they're just available to buy for everybody, kind of thing, which is good that censorship and that is going away. But yeah, I don't think it's got anything cut. Like I say, don't know if it's really as strong as a lot of people say, but I will find out. So yeah, Trouble Every Day. So yeah, if you're interested in extreme French films with a lot of gore and horror and apparently sexually explicit, then that's probably going to be up your street. I'm not sure. I mean, I'll be uploading this today is Wednesday. I think I'll be uploading it today on Wednesday. Guessing this sell is still on. Anyone that's a fan of even if you don't collect the premium collection, some of these films, just great value. So let me show you this one. So Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey, $4.99 on the premium collection. So yeah, even if I didn't collect premium collection, there's still a lot of good films I would recommend picking up on their own merit. So yeah, this one, my mate's brother watched it a while ago. He's quite a lot younger. Came to my mate saying this is the best film ever, best film I've ever seen, best cinematography, looks great, brilliant story. And I was like, it's good, but I wouldn't even put it in my top 3 Kubrick films personally. So it'd be The Shining, then Clockwork Orange, then A Full Metal Jacket. Although Roy has been singing the praises of Barry Lyndon. One I'd heard of. There's quite a few by Kubrick I'd heard of. There's one about the what's it called? The bomb, the Hindenburg, kind of something to do with a blimp. And yeah, it's a few I'd never watched, but he has kind of put it on my radar. So thank you, Roy. But yeah, one I was going to pick up anyway. Couldn't ever find it on Blu-ray and HMV. I do have a DVD, but I said to my mate, it's probably not going to be a great picture. Let's wait to watch it, see if we can pick up a better version. And then I was looking on 4K, and it probably would look brilliant on 4K, but yeah, I think it was like £25 or in the 3 for 50 kind of offer, which I don't really make use of. So yeah, when I seen this in the premium collection, not only would I have picked this up on Blu-ray on any label for $4.99, reduced from $14.99, but yeah, obviously in this kind of really nice edition. So yeah, I'm not trying to collect all the premium collection titles. A lot are out of print, some are just impossible to find, really expensive. So I'm really only getting the ones I really like as films. So yeah, there was one I picked up when I was in there as like a sort of future giveaway. I've already got somebody I'm giving it to, so I won't sort of show it or tease other people. But yeah, sometimes, you know, when you see a really classic film in great packaging and things for £5, then yeah, it's just a bargain to pick it up. So yeah, 2001: A Space Odyssey. Haven't seen that in years. I'm talking like 15 years plus. Found it quite slow. It's a well-made film, but I can't say I loved it, to tell you the truth. So yeah, do a rewatch. And then obviously I gave the DVD to my mate so he can watch it in his own leisure. Did the same with Blade Runner. I'll let you know on a future video what he thought of Blade Runner. Yeah, I've got 7 films watched so far in my recent watches. So obviously I'm on holiday off work at the moment, but not only been busy, but not feeling too great. Been a bit tired on that the last few days. So yeah, gonna get a lot of films watched. So should be back in a few days with hopefully 10 or so on the watch list. So yeah, I'll talk about his view of Blade Runner when I get to that. Next, we've got another premium collection. Sounds pretty bad, really. I basically paid $4.99 for the slipcase. I do already own this one. Let's see if I've got it. Yeah, so I owned it like that. I picked it up really on the merit of watching the film, just because it's a Sam Peckinpah film. Heard it's a good, I think TV Nash called it like a revisionist western. But yeah, I think Jodie from Jodie's Movie Realm or someone had like said it was a really good film. So yeah, I picked it up in CEX for about £6 a while ago like this, before I really started collecting the premium collection. And then it's the only one on the shelf from all my premium. I've only got about 18. Doesn't have a slip cover, so it's just bugging me and looked a bit silly. So I thought, right, if I upgrade it, the cheapest I'm going to find it, basically paying $4.99 for the slipcase, but then I can move that one on to somebody else who would appreciate it. So yeah, sometimes it's something I'm kind of in and amming, like, oh, should I buy it? I've already got it on Blu-ray. Is it worth getting the 4K upgrade? Yeah, if I know that I can trade it in at CEX for a lot, or one of my mates is already wants it and I can pass it on to them, or do a trade with Al, send it off as an extra gift when I send off the present, the giveaway winner thing. That's kind of what I bought one of them for. Yeah, sometimes if it's good value, I just purchase it even if I'm not going to keep it. So yeah, you know, down the line, if say Sammy's like, oh, I'm looking for a premium collection, it's 20 on eBay, I could be like, mate, I'll let you have it for a £5. This one I do already own on Blu-ray, but it's one of the deals when you buy anything you get it $9.99. And even though I've got the Blu-ray, I thought it looked great on 4K. But also I've got Blu-ray steelbook of it. So if anybody knows from the competition, Joshua Fulci fan 101 4, I think he's called now. I think it used to just be 101. Basically won the main thing, but he only wanted a couple of the films. So yeah, I'm not massive on the steelbooks. I think I picked up the original It steelbook. Let me show you it. No pun intended. Just because at the time when I got in HMV, it was, I think, the same price pretty much as just a standard Blu-ray. So obviously if you've got the steelbook next to the Blu-ray, I'm always going to pick up the steelbook. Not because I collect them, but don't even always look better. Sometimes I like it to have the information on the back. You can't really see much. But yeah, I think if I'm going to trade it in down the line, then yeah, some of these steelbooks do stay at like, I think the steelbook I got of like ET is only still worth around 10, whereas the some I see in the like window bit of CEX is like 75 quid for certain like steelbooks that are out of print. But yeah, obviously I had this version, It. So I've seen this in HMV, £10, well $9.99 to upgrade it onto 4K. Which then I thought, oh, that's okay, I can send the steelbook on to Joshua, because I know he's a massive fan of It. I don't think he's got that. If you are watching this, Joshua, I was going to give it as a surprise, but I don't want to send it all the way to you and you already have it. So yeah, let me know if you've already got that steelbook of It Chapter 1. So yeah, It Chapter 1, I think one of the best horror films of modern times. The bits with like the kids when they're growing up, all really well done, great acting, genuinely creepy. Bit of bad CGI, but not too bad. But yeah, It Chapter 2, went to see that at a cinema. Not only it dragged for like 3 hours, but yeah, not a great film. Didn't like the ending. Without spoiling it, it's very similar to the ending of the original miniseries, which the second part was kind of below par of the first part, and yeah, didn't like what they revealed Pennywise as in the final fight. And then in chapter 2, they've kind of done the same thing, but some of the CGI, like on the old lady when she gets out the chair, to me, it's just awful, not just bad. I'm like, who directed it? I'll remember his name in a minute. But if I'm a director, fair enough, you might not always be in charge of the special effects. But once it gets to the part of like editing them in, or you're like, right, before film my actors in front of the green screen, let's see the compound of how you put it together. Once they show me that, I'd just be like, sorry lads, you might have spent $500,000 on that CGI of that monster CGI cartoon granny, but that is not going in the film. Yeah, surprised some of the... Maybe it's at the cinema, it looked worse because it was up on the big screen and so colourful. I'd have to watch it at home, I don't really want to buy it to be sure, but yeah, some of the worst CGI I've seen in a long time. Whereas yeah, this, I think, one of the best modern horror films. So yeah, one I wanted to upgrade onto 4K, and that means I can pass the Blu-ray steelbook on. I'm sure Joshua would appreciate it more than I do, because yeah, some of these steelbooks just sit in my collection. It's just the form I have them on. I'm not like, treasuring them, or don't get me wrong, with some of like the out of print second sight and things, once I've got them, I do kind of really cherish them. Whereas yeah, with the steelbooks, not massive on them. So yeah, it 4K, and yeah, like I said, I don't think I'm ever gonna pick up it Chapter 2 in the collection. Yeah, really couldn't stand that. Probably the worst film I've seen at the cinema, that or Jurassic World Dominion. This one, the last pickup from HMV. One I've always been a fan of. I think Sammy was the one. Sammy G's World of Cinema put me on that this was coming out on 4K. I think Indicator did a version on Blu-ray. I think Marcus from X-File 2708 has got it, but I think it's out of print, quite hard to get hold of, quite expensive. This seems a better set, but yeah, to finally have this on 4K, Scum, a film by Alan Clark. So yeah, I first watched this probably like teenager, but early teens, yeah, probably like 13. Not only enjoyed it, found it a good film, but yeah, quite disturbing. Watching it again now, it still stands up. I don't think the versions I ever watched, it was usually one on TV, or I think we had it on videotape, were ever cut or anything. But without going into too much detail of one bit of it, like a greenhouse scene is all I'm going to say. Who knew gardening was such a dangerous activity? Yeah, it's a bit... All I'll say is someone gets assaulted in the greenhouse, and always remembered it being disturbing when I was a kid. It kind of, the more after the effects of what happens, that used to be sort of bother, not just me, but everybody I've known that's watched it. I couldn't remember it being that much detail, whereas not sure if, just in hindsight after not watching it for a while, your brain thinks a bit differently, memories are not always accurate, or whether it was slightly cut or something, because yeah, this version, much more intense what they're doing. Lots of fighting, lots of violence. Ray Winston, great in it, really looks the part. He's young in this. Do believe he actually is like hard. Guys that are like trying to fight him and that all look the part. You do believe they're like real nasty gits. The Screws, absolutely vile, really evil. Main Screw, I'm not sure of his name. Obviously it will be on air, but I won't be able to call him out. I'm guessing Julian Firth. All the Screws are horrible and treat him bad, but this guy, yeah, he basically sees something going on, not only doesn't stop it, but comes in after when the guy's on the floor and forces him to get up, and then the kid's in a bad way, and you can tell he's like traumatized by the event, and they basically should be on suicide watch, and he isn't, is all I'm going to say. But yeah, my mum always enjoyed this, I think she said it's the film that sort of disturbed her the most over the years. She don't watch like extreme horror films or Martyrs or stuff like that. I'm sure they would take the biscuit over this kind of thing, but yeah, in terms of kind of more mainstream films, yeah, it is pretty shocking. There's no holds barred, again, no pun intended, on a prison film. There he is holding the bars, but I think they portrayed it so gritty and nasty that when I watched it as a kid, the main thing it made me think is I don't want to go to like young offenders or Borstal. Not that I was ever that naughty or anything, but yeah, it just paints it as like a very horrible, hard, tough place. Even if you're street savvy kind of criminal, some of these guys like hard guys that know how to fight, and then they get there and they just can't hold their own. Yeah, I think maybe they still need to show this nowadays, because the kids nowadays, they're not even allowed to be disciplined by their parents. Society's not allowed to do anything, and they're just growing up to be absolute thugs. Yeah, I mean, won't go into it too much, but in the job I work in, we have to like stand on the door, lock the shutter down, where we get a group of like 15 kids with balaclavas at like 12 years old trying to attack the store. They've got weapons. They're like trying to steal people's property, in literally trying to start fights on like old women and stuff. They're pathetic, but I think that mentality, without sounding too harsh, probably they don't have a father figure to raise them. And I know some of their mums are on drugs and don't care, so they're not getting any discipline. But 20 years ago, maybe when they're doing that, an old man in the street would have given them a clip around the ear, but now you wouldn't be allowed. He'd be the villain. So yeah, I think that's, without getting onto a rant, maybe that's the way society is going downhill, just because these kids all think they're like gangsters, but there's nobody to put them back in line. Whereas, yeah, if I was 10 years old and I went up to the greengrocer and started swearing and put a balaclava on, he'd probably punch me in the lip, and then I'd learn not to do it again. But yeah, I won't get off on too much of a tangent, but for me, one of the best British films. Not just good, gritty, powerful, haunting, looks really good and sounds good on 4K. It's not really any music in it. I guess it wouldn't really suit in like the prison setting. But yeah, I think this is one of the top 5 British films. I don't know if it ever made, because I've not seen a lot of the older classics, but for me, yeah, ones like this, Cares, Watership Down, up in the top 5, yeah, this is up there. This is one of the best British films ever made, I think, or that I've ever seen. Scum on 4K, happy to finally own that. I do have it on, this is the only way I had it before, and I couldn't watch it, because I can't bloody get my video VHS player to work. But yeah, I had it on VHS. When I was a kid, we had it on, like, a teenager, we had it on a burnt-off VHS, recorded off the TV, took it around my mates, they all watched it and really enjoyed it, and then, I think my mum or someone got it on DVD, or like my stepdad when she was with him, and had like a cheap DVD copy that we watched. But yeah, probably not exaggerating, the first time in say 15 years I've watched that. Right, so yeah, that's all the stuff from Al, the HMV stuff, and the one online purchase from Amazon. Next I'll go on to the CEX. So obviously previous pickups on Friday, I got a few things from HMV, can't remember what they are now, I think I've watched some of them, and I got a few things from CEX in Bristol, but this time I went to the CEX in Bedminster. Bit more of a walk. Oh yeah, I will say, sorry, I forgot to say on Scum. Did watch that the other night, so that'll be in the recent watches, or last night, yesterday. So yeah, that'll be in the recent watches when I get to it. It's a bit of a spoiler alert on Scum. Right, next I've got the CEX from Bedminster. People that don't live in Bristol probably think, what the hell is he on about? Bedminster, Kingswood, it's just like little towns within like Bristol and Bath where I live. Have different things in. This one is called The Deadly Affair. So yeah, obviously I do collect indicator. If I see an indicator for £6, it's likely I'm going to pick it up. But the kind of selling point, it's all covered by these stickers, is it's a Sidney Lumet film with James Mason, Maximilian Schell, Harriet Anderson, Harry Andrews, and Simone Signoret as Elsa, with Kenneth Haig. Oh, I know the name of him. I'm sure someone will comment. Kenneth Haig, was he out of like the Carry On films? Roy Kinnear, again, heard the name of him, but I'm not sure what from. Max Adrian and Lynn Redgrave. I don't know if she's related to Vanessa Redgrave. Yeah, I mean, obviously, as people probably know from the back of an indicator, it doesn't give you much information other than from the author of The Spy Who Came In From the Cold. Yeah, 1966, UK, 107 minutes, colour. Yeah, after watching 12 Angry Men, I'm happy to pick up anything by Sidney Lumet, whether it'll be as good as that, I doubt, but it might be interesting. Next, I've got another indicator, slightly cheaper again at £5, from 1961, is Night Tide. So it's got, well, Nicholas Winding Refn presents. I think I've got other films by him. He's not directing it. It's written and directed by, let's see if we can move a sticker, Curtis Harrington. So, was she human, or was she a beautiful temptress from the sea, intent upon loving, consuming, and killing? Yeah, it sounds a bit like The Witch That Came From the Sea, or the one I watched the other day, Neither the Sea Nor the Sand, on 88 Films Tygon. Again, spoiler alert, that'll be on my recent watches. Yeah, with starring Dennis Hopper. I'm guessing he's young in this. It is 1961, maybe one of his early films, with Linda Lawson as Maura and Luana Anders, Gavin Muir, directed by Curtis Harrington. Yeah, don't really know too much about it. It's a PG, parental guidance. I imagine it's not that horror-esque. Much horrifying content is a better way of putting it. But yeah, first of all, I kind of picked it up on Nicholas Winding Refn, because I think I've got no other films of him that are good. And obviously Dennis Hopper. And then once I looked at it properly, I'm like, oh, he presents it, he don't direct. So yeah, heard the name of Curtis Harrington. Not sure what else he does. But yeah, indicate with a £5. Gonna pick it up even if it's a film I don't know, but sure it's interesting. Let me know if anybody else knows. This one, really good value. Arrow video for £6. One you don't really see around too much. Never actually watched it myself. Is Scalpel. So it's a 15 from, say, 2018. I don't think it. No, 1976. So that must be the time it was released on Arrow. Yeah, 1976. Been really getting into a lot of 70s films. Yeah, every 70s film I watch in the last year, I'd say, especially ones with Dustin Hoffman in. A lot of the sort of 70s sci-fi, some like 70s horror, like the British 70s horror, like Deathline with Donald Pleasance. Yeah, been really impressed. 70s becoming one of my favourite decades of film. So yeah, 1976. Robert Lansing, Judith Chapman, a film by John Grisham. Grismer. Let's just have what is John Grisham. He writes novels, doesn't he? 15 contains strong injury, detail, violence, and nudity. 95 minutes. He lost the face of the woman he loved, so he gave it to someone else. Robert Lansing from Star Trek, Alfred Hitchcock Presents in the Twilight Zone, stars as a deranged surgeon in this twisty-turny psychological thriller from Blood Rage director John Grisham. Oh yes, I have heard of Blood Rage. Scalpel stars Lansing as Dr. Philip Reynolds, a man whose daughter Heather, played by Judith Chapman from As the World Turns and The Young and Restless, has run away following the suspicious death of her boyfriend, an incident in which Reynolds himself is implicated, leaving behind a sizable inheritance. When Reynolds happens across a young woman whose face has been brutally disfigured, the unhinged physician sees an opportunity to put his trusty scalpel to use, hatching a demented plan to lay his hands on his daughter's money. Photographed by celebrated cinematographer Edward Lachman, who would go on to serve as director of photography on the likes of Erin Brockovich and The Virgin Suicides, two good films. Scalpel is an exemplary slice of Southern Gothic, finally rescued from VHS obscurity in this new Blu-ray edition from our video. Oh, so maybe it isn't an English film. I thought it was, but it's saying here like American Gothic. What's it say? Sorry, simply slice of Southern Gothic. Well, no, let me know if you know this one. That's the reversible art, not very nice. Obviously, if it's got a slip or, a box that comes in like some of these big sets, then I always keep the slip of, say, this one, then change the artwork in the inside. Whereas if you've only got one artwork you can have on display, then yeah, I think that's the better one. Scalpel at £6. Always nice to pick up Arrow video titles. Cheap, especially ones you don't really see around too often. This one's been on my radar for a while. Big fan of Sam Neill. I think Jodie from Jodie's Movie Realm spoke about this. I thought Roy and Stuart had, but when we were talking about it in the group, I don't think they had said they'd seen it. Sleeping Dogs. How much you can see with this crap in the way. Sam Neill. Yeah, obviously he's in Jurassic Park, In the Mouth of Madness. I didn't realise, but Stuart said he's in The Omen 2, 3 and 4. I think there's like an adult Damien. He's in Event Horizon. He's in Possession with what's her name? Isabel Adjani, which I wasn't a good film, brilliant acting, but for me it was just two people shouting at each other in a subway and throwing shopping at each other. But yeah, it's a video nasty and one of the more classy ones in terms of being well made. I found it a bit boring. But yeah, this is Sam Neill, Sleeping Dogs, a film by Roger Donaldson. £6. I think it might have actually went through at 5. Adapted from C.K. Stead's novel Smith's Dreams, Sleeping Dogs almost single-handedly kick-started the New Zealand New Wave, demonstrating that homegrown feature films could resonate with both local and international audiences and launching the big-screen careers of director Roger Donaldson from No Way Out and Species. I thought I knew his name. Yeah, I only watched Species a couple of months ago on 4K. And Sam Neill from Jurassic Park and Possession. Neill, in his first lead role in a feature, plays Smith, a man escaping the breakup of his marriage by finding isolation on an island off the Coromandel Peninsula. As he settles into his new life, the country is experiencing its own turmoil. An oil embargo has led to martial law and civil war, into which Smith reluctantly finds himself increasingly involved. Co-starring Warren Oates from Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia as the commander of a US Army unit drawn into the conflict. Sleeping Dogs is simultaneously a political thriller, a personal drama, and a true landmark in New Zealand cinema. 107 minutes from 1977, 15 contains strong violence. So yeah, looking forward to watching this one. Heard good things about that. And that's on at Arrow Academy. Sorry if I didn't mention. You can see it on the site. So yeah, 6. I think it might have went for it. £5 for an Arrow Academy. Good value in my opinion. Right, how long is this? Nearly 40 minutes. I've only got 2 more to show. I'll go over these quickly. One of the most expensive I've ever paid for like a standard edition of out of print Blu-ray is Welcome to the Dollhouse, filmed by Todd Solondz, that does Happiness, Palindromes I spoke about on a recent video, and Storytelling. Yeah, he's a very offbeat American director. I think this is his first film. I mean, it was £18. It's quite a lot, but yeah, not only is it out of print, but even when I do see it, comes up on, say, a local CEX. I think it's in the one in Kingswood at 18. Couldn't get there to get it. 2 days later, it's gone. So it does seem to move fast. It is on Radiance. Yeah, I haven't seen it, but heard it's... A lot of people say his best film, better than Happiness, which is a really good film, especially because it's got... I'm having a mental block on his name again. Let me read this and I'll see if I can come back to it. Yeah, I won't read all this. It's going to take too long, but it's got Heather Matarazzo in. It's basically meant to be like a high school coming of age, but like really awkward. Girl gets like picked on a lot and stuff. Kind of what you'd expect from Todd Solondz, like socially uncomfortable kind of film. 15, 1995, 87 minutes, colour. I'll read a little bit of it, yeah, just for some context. Junior high school student Dawn, who they call Wiener Dog Wiener, perpetually teased by her classmates and tormented by the school bully Brandon. All she wants is to be popular, and that would certainly help her emerging crush on the lead of her brother's garage band, Todd. Solondz celebrated coming-of-age comedy won the Grand Jury Prize at the Sundance Film Festival, and young star Heather Matarazzo was awarded Best Debut Performance at the prestigious Independent Spirit Award. Yeah, so if anybody knows of Todd Solondz, you probably know what to expect. I haven't seen it myself, so I can't tell you too much, but really cult film, really hard. I mean, now I've bought this, it'll probably come out next week on Indicator 4K for £19, but Welcome to the Doll's House for 18. And yeah, if it's anything like Happiness, then I say enjoyed. It's a very uncomfortable, painful watch, Happiness, but a good film. Let me see, Hoffman, it's going to annoy me, so I will quickly just see his name. I did this in a previous video as well, I couldn't remember his name. Philip Seymour Hoffman. No, he said Dustin Hoffman. Right, on to the last one. Won't talk about this too much. This is the cheapest one. Might not be a great film, but I thought for £1.50 it's worth the risk. It's called Dorothy. £1.50. 15 contains strong language and sex references, moderate gore, and a grape scene. 102 minutes from 2008. I'll just only read the first line of the synopsis. Psychiatrist Jane Van Dop, played by Caris Van Houten, Valkyrie and Blackbutt, has been appointed by the court to travel to a remote island off the Irish coast to work on the case of Dorothy Mills, played by Jen Murray. A teenage girl has been accused of molesting and trying to kill a young baby. So yeah, at first I thought it was just going to be like a generic, maybe not generic, but possession, exorcism, demonic kind of film. But no, it looks like there's a bit more going on to it. I think I have heard someone else speak about this and said it was good and underrated. It's got Gary Lewis in, who I think is a good actor. Obviously, Caris Van Houten is good. So tell me the director. It tells me down here, but stupidly small. I'm not going to be able to read that. Jen Murray. No, can't seem to see the director unless I get a magnifying glass like Stuart George Sherlock has got. But yeah, I do like these kind of, not always possession, but creepy children films. So obviously you've got The Omen, you've got Orphan, which was really good. I've not seen First Kill or whatever. What's the one with Macaulay Culkin? The Bad Seed or something? Yeah, there's lots of films with like evil children, but yeah, looks an interesting one. If it's not good, then £1.50 is not too much to waste. And yeah, the location, it's basically has to travel to a remote island off the Irish coast to like work on a case. Yeah, I just love films where they go to like, especially seaside or coast, just creepy locations, basically, like isolated locations. Yeah, and I'm not saying it's a ghost film, but in ghost films like The Innkeepers and that, Shining, The Overlook Hotel, it kind of is the location that makes those films. So yeah, let me know if you've seen Dorothy. Right, I was hoping I won't bang on this long. Obviously I showed Owl's Things as well as my pick up, so it's gone on a bit longer. Hopefully it was entertaining. Yeah, I won't waffle on anymore because yeah, this has gone on 45 minutes. Thank you for watching, everybody. Comment down below if you know any information about these films that I was asking. Yeah, I'll be back in a few days, I guess, with my recent watches when I've got a few more in the pile. Try and link everyone down below I've spoke about. Right, thank you everybody for watching. Bye.